Andy Johnson, Minnesota State, back looking at tutoring, the basics of tutoring for students with reading disabilities. Part 2, the 10 essential elements that should be included in any type of literacy program, whether it be for the whole class, for remediation, or even for gifted students. First of all, concepts of print for emerging readers. This is a word, this is a page. And phonemic awareness. Ability to hear sounds within words and manipulate sound. This is to be discontinued after a basic level of literacy has been achieved. And by the way, these are presented but not in any order. There should be word. Here you work with phonics, phonemic awareness, word families, and sight words. You're calling attention to specific words. As well, word identification strategies. These strategies we use. Yes, we use phonics down here, but that is the least efficient. Most of us use context clues, sight words, morphemic awareness, learning about prefix suffixation, and analogy, parts of the words that we recognize. Formal instruction discontinued at about the 4th grade level. Take this with a grain of salt. However, students at all levels benefit from occasional work related to morphemic analysis and context clues as part of vocabulary instruction. So this is a general rule of thumb. Fluency should be part of any literacy program. The goal here is to help the processing of letters so that you can read smoothly and effortlessly. The word automaticity is used here so you don't have to process individual letters and words. Vocabulary. This may include word work related to morphemic analysis and context clues, but some explicit instruction, strategies, exposure to new words. And I have more in-depth detail on that in my book and in other videos. Comprehension and comprehension skills for both narrative and expository text. We teach the strategy to develop the skill. And I have more on that in other videos and in my book. The writing process, or writing and the writing process, should be part of any literacy program. Teach both the process, how you go about writing, and the product, grammar, punctuation, mechanics. Yes, writing helps with reading. Reading helps develop writing. As you are writing, you are developing a feel for semantics, and syntax, grammar, structure of the language, but you also have to use letters and manipulate words and sounds. So writing, invented spelling or temporary spelling, helps you develop letter-sound relationships. Motivation. This is one that is not looked at enough when you are dealing with students with reading disabilities, especially severely delayed. This is probably the most important part, and we'll talk about that later, but that has to do with emotion, affect, voluntary reading. We want students to find reading pleasurable so that they will read. A phrase I use in my class, book demands and they will come, find good books and they will read. Social interaction and proximal development, or proximal skills, zone of proximal development. And literature. How do we expect students to learn to read if they do not have good books to read? So part of any literacy program should be having a variety of high quality books in the classroom, readily accessible for students to read. Regular trips to the library. Basic overview of the 10 essential elements of any literacy program. You notice I don't say reading program, even though we're focusing on reading, but reading and writing are both parts of literacy. You can't think of one without the other.